Weather for you for a football game in San Antonio, Texas. Temperature 64 degrees, skies are clear, southwesterly wind at 9 miles per hour. It's died down to about nothing right now. Humidity 41% and 0 on the chance of rain, and that's always good news to the coaches. And there's Pepper Rogers, head coach of the Memphis Showboats in his second year, a guy head coach in the college ranks at Kansas, UCLA, and Georgia Tech, and Jim Bates, Marv, his first head coaching assignment, his first game as a head coach in regular season.
He's excited as it usually is. He must really be worked up now.
There's the San Antonio kicker, Nick Mickemeyer, and they'll kick it off to Memphis. And this guy, Henry Williams, number 89, he is a speedster. An exciting return man. We're set to go. Crowd still filing in at Alamo Stadium. That'll go out of the end zone, and a good job by Mickemeyer there on the kickoff.
Excellent. He placed the ball. He tried to get it away from a man they believed to be very dangerous, and he did a superior job of it.
There's Walter Lewis, the quarterback for the Memphis Showboats. He'll have Leonard Williams and Harry Sidney with him in the backfield. Wide receivers will be 9, Derek Crawford, 84, Greg Moser, Robert Woods, Tyrone McGriff, Larry Rubens, David Huffman, and Ron Mikulochik will be the up-front people. The tight end is 87, Gary Scherf. We're set to go. 1st and 10 for Memphis from the 20-yard line. Pass was deflected. Number 99, Greg Fields, was the man who went in there.
6 feet 7 inches tall, Roger, and he really got his hands up.
Let's tell you about the defense. Greg Fields, 99. Ivan Lesnick, 95. Jeff Gaylord, 91 in the center. Ken Gillen is 76. Bearfield, 59. D'Amico, 51. Putchode, 55. And Jim Bob Morris, 28. Charles Armstead, 44. Peter Rayford, 20, the corners. And Vic Miner, 25, is the free safety. 2nd and 10 for Memphis now at their 20. Harry Sidney. Sidney up to the 25-yard line, and a good job by Harry Sidney driving with the football. 25 coming up and making the stop right there is Vic Miner. And I'll tell you what, Sidney took him a couple yards, Mark.
He certainly did. The Gunslingers blitzed both of their inside linebackers, and he popped. That left just the free safety to cut off a long, long run, and he hung on.
3rd down and 5 now for Memphis. Ball at the 25-yard line. Crawford will come to the near side. He's number 9. Moser, 84, split to the far side. Lewis, as he does so well, he's got the 1st down and he's got more. Walter Lewis takes it up to the 34-yard line, where Ken Gillen, number 76, finally brings him down.
Well, this is one of the things they have to stop. Have to keep Lewis contained. They kept him contained, as you can see, but he found a crease up the middle. He's dropping back, reading the coverage. It's a deep coverage, but the containment rush on the outside, Lewis breaks up and picks up the necessary few yards for the key 1st down.
1st and 10 now for Memphis. The ball at the 34-yard line. Lewis going for his tight end Shirk, and he overthrows him. That bounty hunter defense, Marv, it's a different sort of concept, a different look than most professional teams.
It certainly is. They are in what the coaches know as a nickel defense all the time. There are 5 defensive backs in the game, but 2 of those backs are great big fellas, and I think they look more like linebackers than they do defensive backs to help support the run.
Well, keep your eye on Bearfield, 59, and Jim Bob Morris, 28. They make a lot of things happen. That's the gunslinger and the nickel back we talk about. 2nd and 10 now, just underway. 1st quarter action from Alamo Stadium. This is Williams. Good job by Williams. Leonard Williams, number 20, gets his way up near the 40-yard line.
Again on 2nd and long, the Gunslingers blitzed both inside linebackers. They were picked up, and by virtue of strong running, this time by Williams, last time by Sidney, they wrung some yardage out of it.
Leonard Williams is a starter tonight because there's a kid named Spencer who's still out with an ankle injury. Pepper Rogers can't wait to get him back.
I know he can. More about him later.
3rd and 5 now. Crawford to the near side. Moser split to the wide side of the field. Lewis has got to move. He's tripped up. 99, Greg Fields from Grambling. Makes the sack. Lewis has got quick feet. The field showed you some great quickness there.
Yes, he did, and they have to stop that. Lewis tried to repeat what he did in the previous third down. They were ready that time.
Memphis will punt it, 4th and 9. Oliver Williams is 87. Miller will do the punting from his 20-yard line. Short punt. They're going to have to let it bounce, and it's a good bounce for Memphis. Williams now picks it up, and he falls ahead to the 19-yard line. That's where San Antonio will take over 1st and 10. 12 minutes left to go. First quarter, Rick Neuheisel, the quarterback, and they come out in a 3 tight end offense. Gary Worthy was the ball carrier, and he's tripped up. Barney Bussey grabs him behind the line of scrimmage. There's the quarterback, Rick Neuheisel. He'll have Gary Worthy, 27, Larry Canada, 35, the backs. Jerry Gordon, 22, Danny Buggs, 88, the wide receivers. Lee Spivey, Rod Walters, Rich Garza, Arlen Thompson, Ralph Williams, the men up front. James Hadnot, the tight end. But we'll also see Joey Hackett, 81, and Mark Rush, 49 in their mark.
Well, they planned to come out with 3 tight ends early in the game to try and establish a running game. We'll see if it works.
And that's what they're doing right now is the lone wide receiver. Gordon is split to the near side. Second and 10. Neuheisel with plenty of time, and that's Worthy. He's across the 45, knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line by the man, 31, Leonard Coleman.
Here we see the 3 tight ends set up. They had sent one of them in motion. Gary Worthy, who was on the wing, circled out of the backfield. Neuheisel looked downfield, found no one else, and like a good and experienced quarterback should do, he looks for the short receiver. It was 2nd and long, and they covered deep. He hit the short man.
Worthy is the lone setback. The 3 tight ends, Hadnot 48, Hackett 81, and Mark Rush 49, and look for one of those men to be in motion. That's Rush in motion to the near side. This is Worthy, 27, and he's stacked up for little or no gain. Good swarming Memphis defense. Look for 92, Reggie White. Paul Hanna, 60. Sam Clancy, number 90 up front. The linebackers, Lamont Jeffers, 57. Steve Beard, 99 outside. David Albright, 59. Will Coakley, 58 inside. Barney Bussey, 8. Ron Osborne, 23, the safety. And those million-dollar babies, Leonard Coleman, 31, and Mossy Cade, number 2. 2nd and 9 now. Neuheisel intended for Hadnot, the big tight end right at midfield. And Marv, this is the man you know a lot about, James Hadnot from Texas Tech.
Well, James was with me at Kansas City. He was a fullback then. He was the leading rusher in the Southwest Conference his junior and senior year, and he played some respectable fullback. We always thought he might be an outstanding tight end. He had a great training camp, we understand. They're very high on his prospects now that he's been converted to that position.
Third down situation now for San Antonio, 3rd and 9. The ball rusty at the 39-yard line. And this time, Danny Buggs will join. 22, Jerry Gordon, split to the near side. That's Hadnot in motion. Somebody got a piece of Neuheisel, and it looked to be number 92, Reggie White, who might have grabbed his arm. Neuheisel did a nice job moving up in the pocket, but White goes 6'6" and 284.
We can get a look at him here, number 92 up the top of your screen, working against Ralph Williams. A beautiful spin-off. He hits Neuheisel's arm as he's about to deliver, and that's not just being big, that is great agility for a big man.
Hartley is back to punt on a 4th and 9. There's Hartley, number 9, for San Antonio. And this guy, Henry Williams, a rookie, 5'6", 184 pounds. Marv, they tell us he runs a 4.240.
Isn't that amazing? I haven't seen anybody, I've never timed anybody that ran that fast. We've had some speedsters.
Nice high spiraling punt by Hartley. Williams will take it at the 11-yard line. Look at that speed. He can't quite get it to the outside. Over there for San Antonio, Mike Grant, number 55, to run him out of bounds. No score between Memphis and San Antonio. First quarter from Alamo Stadium. Roger Quando, Marv Levy back with you at Alamo Stadium. 51-yard punt by Ken Hartley.
The thing that impressed me more was the height on it, and that's the way you have to kick if you're going to cover against this young Henry Williams.
Memphis has it 1st and 10 on their own 16-yard line. the 20-yard line. Hutch Schultz, 55, came up and made a heck of a play on Leonard Williams.
Hutch Schultz here, the very strong inside linebacker, reads the play. It was a counter-type play. He gets off of his block from Ron Mikulocic and really puts a stick on Leonard Williams, and then the pursuit shows up. That's a fine linebacking play by Schultz.
Hutt led him in tackles last year with 207, so watch him. He's very active on the inside. 2nd and 6. Pitchback, that's Harry Sidney. Oh, what a fine job by San Antonio, the Bounty Hunter defense, to string it out. And give a lot of credit to Jim Bob Morris, 28. He was a man up front, and also Ken Gillen, 76, to string it out.
Morris forced the play. He really came up and stopped it. Gillen took a good pursuit angle down the line of scrimmage and was able to get in on the play.
Marv, what is this Bounty Hunter defense? 8 men up front near the line of scrimmage do to the offense.
Well, it's a different look. I strike the parallel. As different as the run and shoot is offensively, the counterpart to that from a defensive standpoint is this Bounty Hunter 4-5-2 defense.
3rd and 5 now. Draw play, Harry Sidney. He's got the first down. He's got more. Sidney across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Finally, 25, Vic Miner makes the tackle. Harry Sidney, he was acquired from Denver, and they're expecting a lot out of him with Spencer out of the lineup.
He's impressed me both times. Here we see him step over like he's going to pass block, take the handoff from Lewis. A very nice cut on Choate, heads upfield, but look at the balance on this fellow as he bumps off the potential tackler there. I believe it was Larry James, and brings out some additional yardage in the first down.
1st and 10 for Memphis. Sidney, 3 carries, 22 yards. Lewis, he's got a man. Appears to be Derek Crawford, number 9. And it's another first down for the Memphis Showboats. 1st and 10, 7:35 to go first quarter. This time, Crawford, number 9, and Moser, 84, split to the near side. Leonard Williams, he goes nowhere. That was 95, Ivan Lesnick. 6'2" and 256 from the University of Arizona, came over from the LA Express.
He was a late cut by the Express. They are bringing their inside backers a lot. It surprised me, honestly, that Memphis has had as much success inside as they have so far. This is what the Gunslingers hope to accomplish with all of that blitzing inside. They certainly succeeded on that down. They've got them in a passing situation.
2nd and 10. Moser comes to the near side. Harry Sidney, 24. Leonard Williams, number 20. The setbacks for Walter Lewis and the Memphis Showboats. Lewis intended for Derek Crawford, and Marvin appeared, though, that Walter Lewis checked off at the line of scrimmage that time.
Yes, he did. The backs moved over. You could see that was part of their checkoff on the play.
3rd down and 10 situation. What does San Antonio do now defensively?
Well, what they do, they tend to bring in 2 players. They take out Bearfield. They bring in Larry James and Clyde Johnson, both entering the field now. Bearfield and Rick D'Amico, 2 of the men who are strong against the run but not against the pass, come off the field. They have the same alignment, but with much more agile pass defense conscious players.
3 wide receivers for Memphis. Preston Brown is checked into the game. 3rd down and 10. Lewis, the intended receiver was Leonard Williams, but it was 32 Clyde Johnson, a rookie from the University of Kansas, who played his high school football right here in San Antonio at Sam Houston High.
That was Johnson's first play, and here we'll see as Lewis releases the ball. Receiver thinks he has it, and here comes Johnson in from the outside, separating from the ball. He is one of the few rookies on the roster.
4th down and 10. Jim Miller back to punt at his 35. Angling high kick to the far sideline, and a fine job by Jim Miller, the former 49er, as the ball bounces out at the 12-yard line. No score, San Antonio and Memphis. And San Antonio will take it over. 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line. Worthy and Canada in the backfield. That's Larry Canada, hard runner. Canada across the 15 to maybe the 16-yard line. Will Coakley, 58, out of Kansas State University, played with the Michigan Panthers last year, comes up to make the stop. And because of the injury to John Corker, Marv, they've had to do some shuffling defensively.
They've had to do a lot. They've put Steve Bearden outside in Corker's place. He's a big fellow who has a lot of Corker's qualities, they feel, but he hasn't had to lay it on the line yet. And Coakley is playing inside with Albright because Mike Whittington is hurt as well. They're hurting at linebacker.
4-yard pickup by Canada, 2nd and 6. Danny Buggs split to the near side. Gordon at the top of your screen. This is Gary Worthy. Worthy drives it up to near the 20-yard line. Gary Worthy, a young man out of Little Wilmington College in Ohio.
He scored 72 touchdowns in his collegiate career. It's amazing. Now, Gary is only 190 pounds, which isn't big for a running back, but I think they're going to find, as we found in Chicago, we played with this last year, he's a better inside runner than outside runner. Right now, he's going outside the field. They're taking him out.
And Don Roberts, who is their pass catcher, number 43, will come into the game, so we can look for Roberts now. And Neuheisel has completed 1 of 3, trying to find the young man from San Diego State. 3rd down and 3, 5:12 to go, first quarter. Both wide receivers, Gordon and Buggs, split to the near side. Roberts in the slot to the right. That's Gordon in motion. And once again, had not had the hands on the football, and he dropped it. Marv, what type of receiver was he as a back with you at Kansas City?
He was a good receiver out of the backfield. He just takes his eye off the ball here. He's very relaxed, and in this instance, too relaxed. He gets out clean away from his man. He didn't take his eye off the ball. He just didn't get that second hand out there to grab it.
6'2", 240, a big man, and this puts the pressure on Hartley as he stands back at his 5-yard line to punt it. He got off a beautiful punt his first time, and this is the speed. They call him the Space Shuttle. 89. Short punt. Henry Williams will come on the run and catch it at the 45. Williams is knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line, so the best field position of the night will be had by Memphis. No score between Memphis and San Antonio. The Showboats will have the football when we return. A couple of new running backs into the game now for the Memphis Showboats. 26, Ricky Porter. 25, Anthony Parker. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Well, there they jump offside. They miss the starting count. New players in the game for the first time.
That's Jeff Gaylord, 91, who is raising some havoc in the middle of the line.
Ball start, 68 in the offense.
Ball start was on 68, and that's Tyrone
McGriff. You see him beginning to lean out there. He pulls his own tackle with him. Correct call on the play, and then he and Gaylord get into it a little bit after that.
Buddy Ward is our referee. And the first penalty of the night with 4:48 left to go in the first quarter.
You know, that really hurts. You're all fired up. You've got good field position. You're down there, and now you're 1st and 15.
Gaylord has come out of the game. A 94 Ben Smith has checked in. That's 26 Ricky Porter in motion. The handoff to number 25 Anthony Parker out of Memphis State. He gets little or no gain right up the middle.
This is the first time they have used this formation. They're putting Ricky Porter on the wing, sending him in motion. They'll either turn him up inside the block or keep him going all the way across the formation so they can have extra receivers out there to flood it. But it's a little bit different look from what Memphis has been using.
Rick D'Amico, 51, and Putz Schote, the inside linebackers. When they go inside, you know those two guys are going to be right there. 2nd and 12 now. Lewis appears to be checking off once again. That's 25, Anthony Parker, and I'll tell you, this bounty hunter defense is fired up. Ivan Lesnick, 95, the initial contact.
Lesnick has looked very good so far. He is one of the players that came over, as we said, on a late cut from the Los Angeles Express, and he has certainly helped this front. They have all new defensive linemen with the exception of Ken Gillen.
Well, they were still making roster changes, as they can do, 3 hours before game time. Right. Makes our job a little harder, but they don't care about that, do they? 3rd down and 10. Moser split to the near side. And movement on the offensive line. Mikulocic appeared to move up front.
Ball start, 62 in the offense.
Well, I got lucky on that one.
Here we'll see on the left of your screen, you see Mikulocic jumping up. What you don't see is the fact that they faked the blitz. Larry James are in their dime defense, they call it. Faked the blitz on the other side, and they got a little nervous and jumped.
As Pepper said, he has a couple of elderly gentlemen to tackle for him. Mikulocic in his 12th year and Robert Woods in his 12th year. Third down and 15. Both receivers split to the near side. Preston Brown also in there. Draw play. They busted right up the middle to about the 40-yard line. Cut Schultz, one of the men coming up to make the tackle, and he's always involved. 207 tackles a year ago. Porter was the ball carrier, and that'll bring up a fourth down situation, and going into the wind, Jim Miller will come in to punt it.
I was a little surprised at that call. 3rd and 15 with such good field position. I don't think the draw figures to pick it up for you, and if you don't get it, you're still out of field goal position. A little bit surprising place to use it.
Miller standing at his own 45-yard line, angling it to the sideline. Penalty marker is down.
Costly penalty running into the kicker.
Jeff Whiting, number 60, the closest man to Jim Miller.
You're about, that's the same as a turnover in my book, Roger, because you're about to get the ball and you give it back to the other team deep in your territory.
That'll turn Jim Bates' blonde hair gray quicker than anything, won't it?
It certainly will. You like to go after punts, but you always worry that you're going to run into him.
Special teams play, always important.
Watch to the left of your screen. The snap pulls Miller a little bit that way. He's trying to angle out of bounds. Whiting comes right in at him, runs into him. You have to realize down in that territory that the punter might be angling out of bounds, and therefore you don't have the same landmark when you're trying to block a kick that you would have when he's kicking up the middle.
It appeared as though Whiting might have just turned his head briefly, and Miller went ahead and angled his foot on toward the left as he was trying to get it to that corner. And a good smart punter will do that. He'll try to make the contact.
He will, except there's a rule now that if you purposely do it and the referee so determines it is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
That's only if you've taken drama 102. If you've just been in the beginning for it.
First down.
So that'll be a first down for the Memphis Showboats. There's Jim Bates, assistant at Texas Tech for 6 years, defensive coordinator last year, famous for his high-five slaps as defensive coordinator. Said he won't change anything. He'll keep high-fiving them.
I did see a strand of gray, just as you thought.
First and 10 now. Handoff up the middle, and that was Ricky Porter. I'll tell you, this bounty hunter defense really puts some good hits on the offense.
They sure do.
And when you have 8 men up that close, well, you got more than one tackler every time.
Here we see right up front Tyrone McGriff getting stand up straight there by Jeff Gaylord. The back still hit in there hard, but that bounty hunter defense converges. Fine play by Gaylord. That bounty hunter defense is tougher than 14 miles of detour, I'll tell you.
Second down and 8, just over 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Moser splits it in their side. Crawford is the other wideout. Lewis has got Shirk. Gary Shirk fumbles the football. It's still loose. The opportunistic bounty hunter defense of San Antonio comes up with it.
Well, I'll tell you, Walter Lewis read the defense perfectly. It was a 2-deep zone. A linebacker was supposed to run with Shirk. He didn't.
Bob Morris, 28, comes up with the fumble. Look at the high five.
Jim Bates and Jim
and Morris.
Here we'll get the look. Lewis, it's a play-action fake, not much of a play-action, however. He finds Shirk down the middle, completes it. D'Amico was supposed to cover him, but a good hit, head on the ball. The ball is free, and Jim Bob Morris pounces on it. Very uncharacteristic play, by the way, by Gary Shirk, who's a very dependable player. Fine read by Lewis. I'm impressed by that. It shows a maturing by the young man.
Memphis and San Antonio scoreless, 1:51 left to go first quarter. 3 tight ends in there. Handoff, Larry Canada. Canada gets up to about the 19-yard line. 57, Lamont Jeffers in on the tackle. The turnover by Memphis, set up on a big hit by Vic Minor on Gary Shirk, and that's an interesting story with Vic Minor.
That's right. There's some irony here. First, we'll see Minor. Shirk tries to cut away from him. Minor puts the brakes on well, puts his helmet right in the ball, and out it comes. But Vic Minor is the player who came to San Antonio in exchange for the rights of Mossy Cade going to Memphis.
And he was a good player for Memphis last year. He was a proven quantity, and that's what Jim Bates got. As good as Mossy Cade will probably be, he's still a bit of an unknown. 2nd and 6. Gordon split to the near side. Less than a minute to go, first quarter. Once again, Canada. He's got some room outside. Larry Canada bowls his way to the 23-yard line, and it took 3 Memphis defenders to bring him down. How about number 60, Paul Hanna, who played here in San Antonio last year, making a tackle?
Yes, he did. He went over over in a trade. So far, I believe San Antonio has been a very predictable team, running on first and second down, passing only in obvious situations. I realize their field position has been tough and made it difficult for them to be anything but predictable.
Neuheisel, 1 of 4 for 19 yards, but let's mention the fact that a couple of balls that had not should have caught were not caught, and consequently, San Antonio now faced with a 3rd and 3, and they're going to let the clock run down and end the first quarter of play. 3rd down and 3 for San Antonio. Gordon split to the near side. And it looked like 59. David Albright jumping in. And that's an easy way to get a first down, Marv.
It's easy, but I'll tell you, one of the things you tell your quarterback to master is good voice inflection. And Neuheisel took advantage of the rookie linebacker who got anxious to stop him on short yardage, and he picked up the first down.
One of the best at that ever was Bob Greasy.
He was outstanding. There have been some good ones, and you certainly singled out one of them.
So, first down for San Antonio, just underway. Second quarter action, and in the first quarter, offensively, it was primarily Memphis, as they had 89 yards on total offense. San Antonio just 35 in the time of possession, as you can see, 9:46 to 5:14. As we pick it up, 1st and 10 now. Gordon split to the far side of the field. He's in motion now. Neuheisel in trouble. He gets it away. And he was nailed there. Number 90, Sam Clancy, got him from behind, but it was the outside backer, Lamont Jeffers, 57, who really applied the pressure.
It was a fake reverse as Neuheisel sprinted out. I think you normally, he faked the word, you normally run that reverse before you fake it, and he happened to be faking right into a blitzing outside linebacker, Lamont Jeffers. That fouled the play up. He was fortunate to get it away and not take a big loss on the play.
Well, he certainly was. Neuheisel was sacked some 60 times last year. Not himself, but the quarterback, but he was in on a number of those sacks. But that'll happen to a rookie quarterback. Yes, it will. Gordon goes in motion to the far side. Neuheisel intercepted, intended for Bugs, picked off by 31 Leonard Coleman. The man who was the 8th pick in the NFL draft by the Indianapolis Colts comes up with the interception.
Don't think that doesn't bolster that young man's confidence. Those young corners need it. Here we take a look at it from the end zone. Neuheisel dropping back. He looks to the right on the defense, which he should do. Sees nothing over there. Comes back. Overthrows his man, however. He had plenty of time. He wasn't rushed. Nothing caused him to overthrow. He just did.
Memphis, 1st and 10 now. A lot of room for Leonard Williams. He's got a first down. He's finally knocked down at the 22-yard line. Coming up to make the stop over there, number 20, Peter Rayford, who was all USFL last year out of northern Michigan. There's Leonard Williams. This is a young guy. Pepper Rogers said, hey, I had him last year. I cut him. We just brought him back a few days ago.
I tell you, he's been impressive to me how hard he's run the ball, and he had a good feel for where the crease was on that last down, too.
1st and 10. Ball at the 21-yard line. Crawford split to the near side. Moser to the far side. This is Williams again. He's got room. Inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. He's dragged down on the far side over there. Vic Minor, 25, comes up to make the tackle. You know, Vic was MVP for Memphis last year against San Antonio.
Yes, he was. Here's Leonard Williams again. A good lead by Harry Sidney. He gets the feel of it. Sidney picks up number 51, D'Amico, but he can't quite shake Vic Minor. Vic saves him a touchdown right there.
2nd and 3. Moser, Crawford go to the far side. Handoff, and that is the big man, 44, Ron O'Neill, who came into camp weighing 280 pounds. They got him slimmed down to about 265.
You know, when they say a guy's down to about, I always wonder. About means between 265 and 285. This was unusual. I saw that on the program at 280 and couldn't believe it. They verified that's what he was. Memphis better score here. Otherwise, I think that the steam is going to go out of them. They've had an awful lot of opportunities. Unless they cash in on it, you could see the momentum change.
I tell you, Williams looks like an upright freezer. Third down and 3. O'Neill, I should say. Handoff. Harry Sidney. And that'll be very close. Jeff Gaylord, Ivan Lesnick, the middle of that San Antonio line. Rick D'Amico also in there. Ben Smith, 94, plugging things up. And they're going to have to take a look at it. So far, Marv, we've seen Pepper Rogers use a lot of different running backs. And I think you felt he might have gone to the air that time.
Yes, I did. I thought he would. His formation indicated to me. It was a formation they used last year where they almost always roll out pass. Now, maybe he knew that was his tendency. There's only inches. See what he does here. Will he go over the field goal and get the sure 3 or go for it?
I think first game of the year, no score.
And inches to go.
And you know, Pepper.
Inches to go. He's going for it. That signal meant I'm going for it, I guess.
Moser leaves the game. Crawford leaves the game. And they'll bring in a lot of big people, some tackles. They don't have all the tight ends they want, but Mark Rao will come in, 83, Shirk, 87. They've also got Van Heflin, 88. Fourth down, less than a yard at the 11-yard line. Walter Lewis. Oh, that's going to be real close. D'Amico, 51. Also coming up, 56, Reggie Mathis.
The spot is going to be the determiner. The San Antonio bench is acting as if they stopped them. They're getting ready to run out there, but I don't think so. Going to be very close, very close.
Marv, how were you on the sideline trying to figure out if it was a first down or not? What was your percentage?
We never did it from the sideline. You asked your coach from upstairs in the press box. How close is he?
Well, the bounty hunters say they've held. Now we'll see what the fellows in the striped shirts have to say. Boy, they're taking a long, hard look.
There you see it. About an inch shy. About 1 inch shy is a great picture of them stopping him, and don't think that won't lift them.
That's Bates. That's the head coach. I'll tell you what, this guy's consistent. Assistant coach, he was a high-five man. The head coach, he's a high-five man.
Don't think they aren't fired up. It's up to the offense now to do something. Field position or not, you've got to move the ball right now.
Bounty Hunter defense has come up with 2 big plays. No score between Memphis and San Antonio. 12-10 left to go first half. Scoreless football game, and it's been a defensive struggle, Marv. We felt it would be a defensive battle. And San Antonio takes it over. First and 10. Handoff right up the middle. Worthy, the ball carrier, gets it up to near the 15-yard line. Neuheisel has struggled a bit so far. He has thrown an interception. He's had a couple of passes dropped. Last year as a rookie, threw 15 interceptions. But Marv, he came out of a college program at UCLA. He was well-schooled, and they think he is going to be a fine quarterback in a short matter of time.
I think he will, too. He had a magnificent preseason. He's mechanically very sound.
70% of his passes in preseason.
70%.
Second and 6 now. Canada and Worthy, the running backs. Gordon, the lone wide receiver. A little misdirection that time to Worthy.
It was a misdirection, but from the backside, he was tracked down by Sam Clancy, who did a very good job.
Once again, Marv, they run on the first 2 downs.
Yes, they have been. Again, they're deep in their territory. Here we see Worthy taking a step to his own left, coming this way, but Clancy right down the line of scrimmage from the backside. It looked like Larry Canada didn't get his block on that one. That is not typical of Larry. He's a fine blocker.
Sam Clancy, 6'7", 260, was a basketball player at Pitt. Played with Seattle, came over from Pittsburgh, 3rd and 5. Roberts is in the game. He's in motion now to the near side. Pass intended downfield at the 25-yard line for 22, Jerry Gordon. And Neuheisel trying to throw on the run, threw behind Gordon. Mike Thomas, 49 on the coverage, and Neuheisel now just 1 of 7. And I'll tell you what, that hurts your defense because they make the big play and the offense can't even get a first down out of it.
It does hurt. There was excellent pass coverage on the play. Neuheisel really had nobody open. He may have thrown it behind on the ground on purpose to avoid an interception and avoid taking a loss.
Henry Williams now, he is back at the 40-yard line. Hartley to kick from his own 1-yard line, and let's see what happens here. Short punt, fair catch called. He's going to let it bounce. And Hartley gets a break because he gets a big roll inside the 40, finally down at the 37-yard line. 45 yards in the punt. No score, Memphis and San Antonio. No score here between Memphis and San Antonio. A lot of time left in the first half. Crawford, number 9, goes to the far side. Moser, 84, splits to the near side. Walter Lewis, number 10, the quarterback, and he's got Crawford. That's the first down inside the 45, down to the 44-yard line. Vic Miner, who's been a very active player, was over there near the play, but it was 20, Peter Rayford. 5'10", 180 pounds. Pretty good player. Came up with a lot of big plays last year, Marv.
He sure did. He had 3 touchdowns during the season. One on interception, one on an onside kick that he returned. He gave a big cushion to Crawford, though, and they hit him on that slam-in pattern again. They're afraid to crowd Crawford.
First down for Memphis. Handoff goes to Williams. He's got some room. Williams turns it up. Williams inside the 35, down to the 32-yard line, and that's going to be another first down. Given chase over on the far side, Putt showed 55, and also Ivan Lesnick, number 95. And this young man, Leonard Williams, 6 feet, 190 pounds, has really shown us something.
Yes, Sidney leading through the hole again. Williams cutting up inside as that gunslinger, as they call that strong safety, comes across. He was kicked out by a pulling lineman, and Williams has a good feel for the crease. 7 carries, 46 yards, and let's give the nod to David Huffman, 56, who made a good block on that play. Another first down. Lewis, he's got a man, it's Crawford. Couldn't quite get it to him. Charles Armstead, 44 on the coverage. He got some pursuit on the outside, caused him a bit of a problem, but he can throw the ball, Marv, moving to his left with pretty good efficiency. Very good. They faked the run that they have been running to Leonard Williams. Instead, Walter Lewis kept the ball. Crawford had Armstead beaten deep, but he didn't get the ball to him deep enough, and Crawford had to pull up, and the play, as a result, was broken up.
Gillen was over there giving pursuit, number 76. 3 of 8 now. Walter Lewis, 53 yards, and it's 2nd and 10. Ball at the 32-yard line. Williams. Oh, he's been a good runner tonight. He moves it down near the 25-yard line.
I've got to say, Roger, I thought this would be a weak spot in their game at halfback with Tim Spencer injured and a fellow who we really knew nothing about playing, and he has really been the heart and soul of their offense.
That's what Pepper was telling us. Yeah, he was saying, oh, that's going to be a weak spot for us. We're just really hurting at running back, and look what Williams has done tonight. 8 carries, 53 yards. By the way, Gaylord, 91, made the tackle there. We saw Jim Bob Morris come from the near side that time on the blitz.
Yes, he'll blitz a lot. Off the weak side of the formation.
Timeout.
Timeout on the field. Memphis and San Antonio scoreless. 3rd and 3 now, Marv.
I think they're going to run it. The Bounty Hunters are playing them for it. They have their strong linebackers in, not pass coverers.
Leonard Williams, Harry Sidney, the running backs.
It's like he's audibilizing.
Going deep, he's got Moser, touchdown! The first pass Moser has caught this year. He didn't even catch one in preseason.
None in preseason. Now, I'll tell you what happened. Rayford was crowding Moser. He was right on him on the line of scrimmage. Lewis saw it and audibilized. Rayford was not supposed to take him deep, however. The safety was supposed to come in behind, but it was an excellent control route, run to the outside. By Moser. He's all alone. Easy score.
Oh, he had plenty of time, too. Walter Lewis with a lot of time to throw the football. There's the key. Alan Duncan to attempt the point after. And it's good. And Memphis, with 8:13 left to go in the first half, has taken a 7-0 lead over San Antonio. The Men in Halftime Report with Tom Eames. Tom will be bringing you highlights of all the USFL games from this past weekend, including Jim Kelly's effort against the LA Express. What a great come-from-behind win.
Wasn't that remarkable? 3 touchdowns late in the game.
Duncan kicks it off. Short kick. One of the upmen will take it back upfield. To San Antonio, that's number 30, Scott Stamper, and he gets it across the 30 to the 32-yard line. This is something that Pepper Rogers told us today about short kickoffs by Duncan.
Yes, he's a little bit perplexed by the short kicks that Duncan has turned in last year. Said it put him in bad field position.
Now, San Antonio really needs to put something together offensively. Neuheisel's got a man, that's Canada. He gets about 4 yards, and that's Leonard Coleman, number 31, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's the young man out of Vanderbilt University, decided not to go with the Indianapolis Colts. He's a great athlete.
Yes, he is. I'm very impressed by how well he hits on the play. Larry Canada caught the pass. He was the man that Neuheisel originally faked to. It was a play-action pass. He had wanted to go to a deep man, but he was well covered. He dumped the ball off to Canada. Neuheisel does do that well.
Danny Buggs comes to the near side. Gordon split to the top of your screen. 2nd and 5. Neuheisel's got a man deep. It's Hadnot. Boy, Neuheisel did a good job moving up in the pocket that time, Marv, and Hadnot was down there. He just overthrew him.
Yes, he did a very good job of doing just what you described. There was some upfield rush on his outside shoulders. An inexperienced quarterback would sometimes try and go to the outside. But you see him here from behind. He feels that outside pressure on both sides of him, steps up, puts the ball down the middle, but it's not a very well-thrown ball. He did everything right except get the ball to the open receiver.
3rd and 5 now for San Antonio. Just over 7 minutes to go in the first half. That's 81. Hackett coming to the near side. Buggs and Gordon split to the far side. Roberts is in motion now. Across the middle, Hackett had his hands on it, but a good play made by Barney Bussey. This is a guy you don't hear a lot of because of Mossy Cade and Leonard Coleman, but he's a high-priced defensive back that played very well for him last year.
Yes, he is. He was their number 1 draft choice last year. Didn't join them until May. They put him out at the corner because they needed help, but his real position is safety, and he is quite a run support man as well from that spot.
Well, once again, San Antonio can't get anything going offensively. They're having a hard time catching Neuheisel's passes, and Rick just really hasn't been that sharp as Hartley stands back at his 20 to kick it to the man with all the speed, Henry Williams, number 89, and Williams going to get a chance to return this one. Boy, a good job by San Antonio. 49, Mark Rush out of the University of Miami, a teammate of Jim Kelly who played with him at Houston, comes down. 40-yard punt, and Bates, look at it, he's still high-fiving. Doesn't make any difference. Special teams, offense, defense, he does it.
Well, okay, here we're going to see Henry Williams here, and I'll tell you one thing he does that shows his inexperience. A great punt returner is going to take that ball straight forward in a hurry instead of trying to get to the outside. I used to call that the high school punt return. Get outside of everybody and sprint.
You want him to go north-south depending on which way your goal is rather than east-west.
Right.
1st and 10. This is Williams, and look at him run across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And Leonard Williams has been the offense. He has been the man tonight for Memphis that has opened up that passing game that hasn't been that much, but it got him a touchdown.
Yes. Now, the other thing that's happening, and happening very well, the Memphis guards are doing a very good job of pulling and kicking out on the strong safety when they go to the strong side and on the weak safety when they go to the weak side. They're running strong most of the time, but McGriff and Huffman are doing an excellent job to make this running game go.
Another first down for the Memphis Showboats. 1st and 10. Moser, great catch by Moser at the 47-yard line. Armstead had the coverage. He showed you some great hands. Marv, a possession receiver. Williams, 10 carries, 76 yards, and 3 consecutive first downs on first down for Memphis. Less than 5 minutes to go, first half. Moser split to the near side. There's Moser. Moser at the 34-yard line. He came underneath that time. He had plenty of room. 28. Jim Bob Morris made the tackle, and Memphis has got the offense clicking right now.
Yes, they're mixing it up very well. That was that same slant-in pattern that Lewis was looking to throw this time to his right. It was well covered. The defense moved to the right, to the offensive right very quickly. He looked back for Moser, knew he'd be there. Moser ran the underneath crossing route, was wide open.
26. Ricky Porter has checked into the game. 2nd and 3 now. That's Harry Sidney. Sidney will be very close to the first down. 55, Putz Choate from Southern Methodist University. He had 6 sacks last year. He had a touchdown on a fake punt. He's a very creative player for San Antonio.
Choate certainly is, but I'll say this right now, on the other side of the ball, Memphis is doing an excellent job of mixing it up. Not just their plays, but their starting count. And I can't emphasize too much the importance of a quarterback having a good grasp and feel for the starting count. Very impressed by Lewis's play.
3rd down and 1 now. Clock running, 3:40. Left to go, first half. Sidney and Porter are the running backs. Double tight end. That's Raw in motion. Sidney's got the first down and a little bit more. Let's credit the left side of that offensive line. 68 McGriff, 79 Robert Woods. Rubens is the center, 51.
I would take a look. You know, the left end that time was David Huffman, who they moved out there. He is the tight end on the left. He's pretty slow off the ball, but once he gets moving, he's a strong blocker. And Sidney piles in behind that entire left side. Scott Bolzan is in the ball game, too.
Well, Huffman, 6'7", 265, and you know those offensive linemen, whenever they can get out there and play on the outside, they'll do it, won't they?
Oh, he keeps it. Throw the pass is what he's saying.
That's right. 1st and 10 for Memphis. They've got a good drive put together. Porter inside the 25, down to the 24. Memphis so far on the night has racked up over 225 yards of offense. San Antonio just 46. And, of course, that was San Antonio's problem last year, Marv. Their offense and trying to put something together. They were next to last overall in offense a year ago.
Yes, and they certainly have to pick that up. Their defense is playing tough. I think Memphis has a very good approach to them, and Huffman continues to lead that same sweep that they must have run about 10 times so far.
We've got a player down in the field with 2:31 left to go in the first half. That's John Bearfield, and he has been unusually quiet tonight. We haven't heard his name too much.
Credit David Huffman. All those sweeps, it's Bearfield's job to come across and stuff the sweep to the inside. Huffman's been blocking them out, but in order for it to work, the tight end on Memphis has to be handling the defensive end.
2nd and 7. Both wide receivers to the far side. In motion is Porter. Right up the gut, that's Harry Sidney. Sidney plows ahead. He runs over Charles Armstead, and he has got another first down for the Memphis Showboats.
Well, that's a mismatch. Sidney at 220 and Charles Armstead at about 165. Sidney is running very strong inside, not an outside runner. It's a trap block here. McGriff doing the trapping. Sidney up the middle. Finally, he draws a crowd.
First down, 14.
Jim Bob Morris trying to pursue, get into the play, but he gets screened off by the referee, and don't think that is in a dangerous position for that striped shirt to be in.
The referee also screened out Putz Choate. He took 2 out on that play.
He gets credit for an assist.
2 minutes left to go in the first half. Memphis leads San Antonio 7-0. Ball just outside the 15-yard line, and this is Leonard Williams. Armstead 44 drives him out of bounds at the 10-yard line, getting a gain of about 5. And Marv, so far, there have been 9 plays in this drive for Memphis. They've had the ball for over 5 minutes. They've recorded 13 first downs in the night to San Antonio's 2.
This has been an extremely impressive drive. They're gaining momentum as they go. Again, I've been impressed. I've talked about their guards, but on this power sweep that they're running, Mark Rao, who's in there at tight end, has to be doing a number on the San Antonio defensive end.
Rao is lined up on the near side. He's number 83. Both wide receivers split to the far side. That's Moser in motion on 2nd and 3. Pass is complete. That's Leonard Williams. That's his first pass reception of the night, and he does a good job of getting out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:49 left to go in the half. There is a marker down. There's a marker down in the San Antonio secondary. It's going to go against the Memphis Showboats. That was really away from the play where the flag was dropped, Mark.
Yes, I think it was, and it may have been the tight end. He had his hands out on the man rushing. He had to block a defensive end, which is a little tough. I don't want to speculate too much that it was him, but as I saw it, he was doing some holding. Maybe someone else was too.
Let's hear what Buddy Ward has to say.
Pass interference. The offense, number 84. Lost it down.
Moser.
2nd down.
So, loss of down. That moves the ball back to the 20-yard line. It is now 2nd and 14 with 1:49 left to go in the half. This time, Crawford comes to the near side. 3 wide receivers. Preston Brown out there with Moses, put to the far side. Lewis is up. Lewis was gathered in from behind. 76, Ken Gillen. Ken Gillen with 7 sacks last year. He is the only starter that returned to the Bounty Hunter front line, and he gets their first sack of the night.
Well, that was very important that he do it. They're playing zone defense. Here we see Lewis back. He can find no one to throw to. He sees a potential hole up the middle, but before he can get there, Ken Gillen in from the right side of the screen, and then he gets a lot of help from his friends. That's a big play. That penalty, of course, was a big play, and you tack a sack on top of it, and pretty soon you have to try a long field goal.
Memphis has been penalized for 25 yards so far tonight. San Antonio just 5, as the ball is back at the 28-yard line, and the officials are going to hold things up, talk things over momentarily. 3rd down and 23 for Walter Lewis and the Memphis Showboats. 1:38 left to go. First half, Memphis with a 7-0 lead on the Lewis to Moser touchdown pass. Now they 4th down. Okay, the scoreboard clock had not been changed, and Pepper Rogers is now talking it over. There was the loss of down on the penalty, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 22, and that'll bring on Duncan. He'll have just a slight wind, Marv, not much of a breeze anymore.
I don't think that the wind is a factor here. Offensive pass interference is not only the distance, but it is loss of down as well, as you pointed out, and that was the confusion. That's not the case in college or nor in the National League.
There's a look at Alan Duncan. 21 of 28 field goals last year. Moser will hold it from the 35, call it a 45-yard attempt. No good. Somebody got a piece on it. It was a low kick anyway, but somebody got a piece of it.
There's some hands up in the middle. They're only 7 yards deep on field goals, and I really don't think with the taller players coming into the game today that that's quite deep enough. It used to be, but I'd say 7.5 or even 8 yards.
Alan Duncan attempting a 45-yarder.
Here we take a good look. We have a great shot from the end zone. The snap is fine. The placement is fine. The ball is kicked.
99, the man for San Antonio, Greg Field. He's 6'7", 265 pounds. And I'll tell you what, Duncan, 21 of 28 last year. He thought he got a good piece of it. I don't know what Moser's doing.
That's the fake of all time.
He'll never be an official. Oh, I'll tell you what, that's tough being a kicker. That's a tough way to earn a living. 1st and 10 now, San Antonio coming to the near side. That's Roberts. He gets it out of bounds, and they've got a 1st down. They move it up to the 38-yard line, and Marv, San Antonio has not penetrated by their own 39 tonight.
Well, they're getting close right now, or this is the time, perhaps. I don't know. They've got plenty of time to move the ball down the field, particularly if Memphis goes into a prevent-type defense. I don't think I'd play a prevent-type right here with a 7-0 lead.
How come coaches go into prevent defenses, and it seems like when they do it, the team's just moving right down to the field when they've been holding them all day?
One of the things you increase when you're in prevent is a large chance of gaining an interception. You really do. You drop off and you have a good chance of balls overthrown to pick it off.
Neuheisel out of the shotgun. Gordon is split to the near side, Buds to the far side, and Don Roberts is in there. Neuheisel throws it underneath, and he's got Roberts. Out at the 42-yard line, 59, David Albright, the rookie from San Jose State, and it's going to be the hurry-up offense right now with 1:10 to go.
One thing people don't understand, too, why it's tougher to stop them in prevent, they're using all 4 downs. They're just not using 3.
Running play, this is Roberts right up the middle, and they've got the 1st down. That's what they wanted to try to do. In the last 2 minutes, Marv, on a 1st down?
Last 2 minutes on a 1st down, the clock stopped until the chains are moved and the ball is spotted. Then the official starts the clock again. Now it's in place, ready to go.
There the
clock should go.
55 seconds. Neuheisel coming near side. He's got Canada. Canada trying to get out of bounds at the 45-yard line. He's brought down, and San Antonio wants a timeout. San Antonio wants to take a timeout. He overthrows Danny Buggs. Bugs was open. Leonard Coleman, 31 in the coverage. San Antonio with 2 timeouts left, 42 seconds. They got plenty of time to work it.
Oh, yes, there's plenty of time to take the ball down there. They have timeouts remaining to them. And also, the opportunity to do this right now for Neuheisel, I think, is going to relax him, help him get the feel of the game, help buoy his confidence for the second half, regardless of how it turns out in this drive.
There's Jim Bates. Oh, he's a colorful guy.
Yes, he is. Enthusiastic, a nice person. Good coach.
3rd down and 4. Roberts, Gordon, split to the near side. Now Neuheisel's telling Gordon, I want you to get in motion. He's making some changes here. 3 seconds left on the 30-second clock. He gets it off. But now he's got to get out of trouble, and he doesn't.
There's a safety blitz.
That was number 8 coming in there, Barney Bussey. Number 8, Barney Bussey. He got to Neuheisel, and that time Rick wanted to do some changes, and he just couldn't get it done.
Here we get a look at Bussey on this play, and you asked about prevent defenses, and here's the change-up, a break of the tendency. Bussey coming off the right side of your screen on a beautiful blitz, kills the drive.
Now Hartley's going to punt it. The ball resting at the 47-yard line.
Maybe he's going to punt it.
Well, maybe. I think they're going to let the clock run down, the 30-second clock. The respective clocks are at 10 and 18. Take the penalty maybe and then do it. That's what they're going to do. 10 seconds left to go in the half.
If he takes the penalty, they will punt it.
They tried to cut it right down to the wire that time. 6 seconds left on the game clock.
The offense.
Now, what you hope for is you got to make that snap and nothing bad happens.
That's right. I would have thought they were going to let the full 30 seconds go. 5 yards would not have hurt them here with only a few seconds left on the clock. It was not a bad spot for a fake, by the way. You let the clock run down to almost time and then run your fake play and try and make something happen after that.
So 6 seconds left to go in the first half. 7-0. Memphis, who has had really the more opportunities, you got to give credit to that San Antonio bounty hunter defense for keeping this game as close as it is.
A great defense will keep you in the game even when your offense isn't functioning. They're very much in the game. It's a good opportunity to rush a kick, too.
Well, Buck Schultz, the up man. Now it's 1 second. They do get the snap off. And no one's back for Memphis. They're just going to let the first half run out. And that'll end the first half of play from Alamo Stadium in San Antonio, Texas, with the Memphis Showboats leading the San Antonio Gunslingers 7-0. Oliver Williams, 87, back deep for the Gunslingers. And Alan Duncan kicks it off, short kickoff again, at the 10-yard line. This is Williams. Williams up across the 30 to the 32-yard line. He had some room that time. Coming up for Memphis, 21, John Arnaud makes the tackle. Passing yards 100, total yards 231, and you see the key mark, 25 yards rushing for San Antonio.
That's right. The rushing yardage, a vast difference, and that's reflected, of course, in the time of possession. When you run the ball, you keep the ball.
And the surprise man has been Leonard Williams of Memphis in the first half. 10 carries, 78 yards, and he got a lot of that on first down. San Antonio, 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line, just underway, second half action. They'll swing it out to Larry Canada on the near side. Mossy Cade misses him, and Canada gets it across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Sam Clancy, number 90, came up to make the stop. Take a look at what San Antonio did on their possessions in the first half. And I'll tell you what, Ken Hartley, their punter, was a guy who kept himself awfully busy because as it ended up, their field position was not real good, and Hartley had to put his foot on the football a number of times.
Every time except the time it was intercepted.
6-yard pickup on that pass from Neuheisel to Canada. 2nd and 4 now for the Gunslingers. Buggs split to the near side. Worthy in the slot to the near side. Neuheisel to run with it. He has the first down, and he went down gingerly.
Yes.
Barney Bussey makes the tackle.
A different approach, definitely, at the outset of this half than from the first half. They are spreading receivers all over the field. 2 wide receivers along with Worthy. Reggie White trying to put the heat on. It forces Neuheisel to help pull the ball down, but he steps up as he did in the first half, sees some running room and picks up some yardage, although not very far.
71, Ralph Williams blocking on Reggie White, young man from the University of Tennessee with 11 sacks and 95 tackles a year ago. But they said he still had a lot of room to improve. Gary Worthy has room. Worthy across midfield. Worthy is driven out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Gary Worthy, a young man from Little Wilmington College, is finally driven out by Ron Osborne, and a first down for San Antonio.
They really want to get the running game going. Here we see Worthy taking the ball, getting outside. The outside backer crashed to the inside. Thought Worthy was going off tackle, and that denuded the corner. He got out there for some sizable yardage. Reggie White going inside, and also Jeffers meeting the trap goes inside. Larry Canada cleans up on him. They had a lot of men on Jeffers.
Ron Walters also with a good block in there. 1st and 10. Jerry Gordon in motion to the far side. Neuheisel got his man. That's 81, Joey Hackett. Hackett, a starter a year ago, has been beaten out by Hadnot, but we're seeing more of Hackett and Mark Rush tonight than we are of James Hadnot.
Yes, we are. I guess James dropped those couple of balls early. They've moved Hackett back in because he had a very creditable performance during the 1984 season. He's very reliable. They've got him back in there now. Caught 5 touchdowns last year.
Will Coakley came up to make the tackle, 2nd down and 3, and all of a sudden San Antonio is not running on 1st and 2nd down. They're throwing a couple passes.
They're throwing. You can feel that they've got a different tempo. Their formations are different. They're wide open. All 3 receivers flooded this time to the left side.
In motion now is Worthy. Bugs and Gordon split to the far side. Neuheisel throws it upfield. Oh, a bad pass. A bad pass. Ron Osborne, 23, almost made the interception. Joey Hackett is 81. And what do you want your quarterback to do in that situation, Marv?
Well, when he's on a scramble, your receivers have to adjust to him. But that was a deeper scramble. His rhythm was way off. He's forced outside by White right now. He's looking downfield. I think he used bad judgment trying to get the ball in there in this particular instance because he couldn't step at his receiver. Joey Hackett screams interference, and I think he might have a point.
Well, I think Barney Bussey was screaming interference against Hackett.
Everybody screams it against the other guy. They never say I did it.
3rd down and 3 now for San Antonio. Just over 12 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Scott Stamper, number 30, is checked in, and they got that 3 tight end alignment. Stamper takes it right up the gut. He plows ahead. Helmets are flying off. Arlen Thompson loses his helmet. It's going to be very close to the first down. This is something that you used Hadnot in Kansas City as a lead blocker on short yardage.
He was an outstanding blocker in short yardage. Even though he was the biggest man in our backfield, we put him there. The toughest short yardage team we faced was the Denver Broncos with Randy Gradishar, and we used to assign James Hadnot to Randy Gradishar, and I felt he did a good job.
Texas Tech career record, 2,794 yards rushing. Led the Southwest Conference in rushing his junior and senior years. Now he's a tight end, and there have been some running backs who've made that transition.
Todd Christensen.
Yes. Okay, now decision time for Jim Bates and the Gunslingers. 4th down and inches.
If his money, I'd go for it. He is. He has to here.
Well, the crowd likes the decision here at Alamo Stadium. Stamper is number 30. He's a pretty good little back for him. Rushed for over 500 yards a year ago. San Antonio, 1 of 7 in 3rd down situation.
Same formation.
Stamper. He's got the first down. Scott Stamper to the 32-yard line. Leonard Coleman, 31, one of the tacklers right there. Also Ron Osborne. And you might have thought he would have turned it up, Marv, but he went to the outside and he got it.
Well, here's a replay. He does cut up inside of Mossy Cade. Mossy Cade on this pitch has a chance to bring him down short of the first down, but he cuts back inside. I don't say that Cade made a poor play because it was a good cut by Stamper.
He made the decision to go for it. 4th down and short yardage. 1 of 7 in 3rd down situations. 4th down. Well, maybe they ought to just go for it on 4th down. He wasn't successful on 3rd down, so he's going for it on 4th down. 1st and 10 now. Ball at the 32-yard line. And Rick Neuheisel saw something he didn't like.
I think he saw his own formation. It was awry.
Memphis 7, San Antonio nothing. With 10:43 left to go, third quarter. First and 10 at the 32-yard line of Memphis. Neuheisel, not a chance. Not a chance. Sam Clancy, number 90, and last year with Pittsburgh, he had 16 sacks.
Add those to Reggie White's 11, and Hanna had 5 or 6 sacks also. What they were hoping to get is a big pass rush, and Clancy really adds to that. Here we get a look at Reggie White on the bottom of your screen, and Clancy pouring in from the top, and that is a real, boy, they're lucky they didn't get a penalty called on that as they spun him around. The ball came out before he went down.
Clancy took an inside move that time.
Yes, he did. Come right up the gut on him.
Second and 15. So San Antonio wanted to pass on first down. They want to try to keep mixing it up. 81 Joey Hackett goes in motion to the far side. Neuheisel looking back the other way. He's got a receiver, and it's Hackett. First down, San Antonio inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line, where Osborne comes up to make the tackle.
That's the best ball Neuheisel has thrown all night. He flooded his left side, sprinted to his right, and threw it all the way back across the field. Rather dangerous throw, but he threaded the needle with it. There you see him sprinting to his right, looking to his right. Maybe that's his primary receiving area. It's covered. He looks back and rifles the ball to the left. Joey Hackett right in the midriff catches it with a huge gain, and they are really alive right now.
16 yards on the reception. Moves the ball, mark it at the 19-yard line. First and 10 for San Antonio. Gordon will come to the near side. Hadnot and Rush are the tight ends right now, with Larry Canada the lone setback. This is Canada, cuts back against the grain, maybe gets a yard, not too much on that particular play.
They tried to run a trap. They got such hard upfield rush last time they were in that formation. They were anticipating the same thing. Thought the defensive lineman coming upfield would be easy to trap.
A Memphis player is down, and it is number 90, Sam Clancy. And they can ill afford to lose a player of his caliber. They have just brought in Charles Cook, another defensive lineman. That's an area they're very thin at. Memphis leads San Antonio 7-0. Back with you at Alamo Stadium, just over 9 minutes to go. San Antonio has had the football for this entire third quarter so far. Sam Clancy was just helped off the field. They're checking out his right knee right now. And Clancy, 6'7", 260 pounds, outstanding defensive lineman. And checking into the game, Calvin Clark, number 74 out of Purdue. And this has been a 9-play drive, consumed almost 6 minutes, Marv.
Very untypical of their first half performance.
Wide receivers, both to the far side. Hadnot the tight end in the slot now. He'll come in motion on 2nd and 8. Pitch back. This is Worthy. He turns it up. Nice move by Gary Worthy to get it down to the 10-yard line. He showed us some quickness on that play.
Gary Worthy can make you miss. He is very good. Again, they're blitzing a lot of outside linebacker, and Gary turned right up inside him. Here's another look at it from ground level. The ball is pitched to Worthy. You see Jeffers on a blitz. Worthy misses him, or it makes him miss, I should say, and then cuts upfield. And once he cuts upfield, he really accelerates forward very well.
Steve Beard, 99, made the tackle. Third down and 1 now for the San Antonio Gunslingers. So they will bring in number 30, Scott Stamper. Also in that backfield, Canada, Hadnot is there. Double tight end. 1 of 7 in third down situations now. In the wing is Stamper, and Hadnot comes in motion. Up the gut is Canada.
Going to be close. They put Hadnot in motion to try and give the look of a pass to loosen the defense, and then hope they could trap up the middle with Canada. It's going to be very close.
Clancy checked out of the game with that injury. He had 5 unassisted tackles on the night, and he assisted on 1, and he pressured the quarterback on numerous occasions. It is a first down for San Antonio.
Larry Canada delivered. At Chicago, we called him the mailman because he did deliver.
Marv Levy coached both Larry Canada and Gary Worthy at Chicago. This is old homework for you.
And James Hadnot.
At Kansas City. First and goal now. At the 8-yard line. 7:30 left to go, third quarter. Stamper Good balance. Stamper inside the 5, down to the 4. He's 5'9", 205 pounds, out of Fort Lewis State in Colorado. You like those low, hard running backs that can turn up inside and run underneath those big defensive linemen.
Yes, and he can make you miss also. He has very good change of direction. He's a blocky guy who is tough, knows where the goal line is. Look at him leaping up there. He makes himself a little bit taller there. Brett Williams making the stop finally, but they're getting ever closer. This has been a beautiful drive by the Gunslingers. They're in that power goal line set that they've been using with those two big blockers and Stamper.
Second and goal from the 5. They're going the other way. They've got Canada. Can't get a hold of it. Just a little bit overthrown, although Canada did get his hand on the football.
Yes, the pass was a little bit high, and it was a little bit behind him as well.
Wide open, Marv. It was there.
Yes, he was open. Neuheisel on a play-action pass. He gets a little bit careful with the ball. It goes high. He had a chance to get it, but it could have been a better throw.
What's Memphis doing defensively now? 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5, they're going to play for pass. No question about it. They're not going to have their goal line defense in here. I don't think they'd have them in there on the previous down even.
This drive, 13 plays, 8 minutes and 16 seconds so far. You know, this has been a pretty good ball control football team in the preseason and going back to last year.
Yes, they have been.
And they've got to call another timeout as once again the 30-second clock almost ran out. Memphis 7, San Antonio nothing. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 5 when we return. At the 5-yard line, they've wasted another timeout, Marv.
Yeah, they were fighting the 30-second clock. They are in their goal line personnel. They have their goal line personnel in the game.
Roberts splits out to the far side. Rush and Hadnot come to the near side. Canada the lone setback. Now Roberts in motion. They're flooding the right side. Neuheisel turns it up. He throws it in the end zone. Incomplete. The intended receiver was Hadnot. Neuheisel threw it behind him, and Rick Neuheisel took a pretty good hit as he had 3 men coming right at him.
He threw it behind him, and he did throw to Hadnot, but Hadnot was not his primary receiver, however. He wanted to hit this man in motion into the flat, Roberts. He rolls out. Roberts is not open. Memphis adjusted well. Now he's looking for whoever might be open. He puts it behind Hadnot because he was afraid that Coleman might intercept it if he put it in front of him.
He had some blockers back there for him, too. He made the decision to turn it up, go by his blockers. Now, field goal attempt. Mickemeyer put it down at the 12-yard line. Neuheisel the hold, make it a 22-yard attempt. And it's good. So, the San Antonio Gunslingers finally on the scoreboard. 15 plays, 65 yards. Getting ready to kick off 22-yard field goals. Get San Antonio on the board. And, of course, back deep, 89 Henry Williams, the space shuttle from East Carolina. He gets it at the 15. He's up to the 39-yard line. He's a dangerous kick returner. 24, Larry James, the man that first got a piece of him. There is Sam Clancy. He has got a twisted right knee, and he probably will not return this evening. Memphis, Marv, has had some opportunities tonight. They've not been able to take advantage of all of them.
No, they haven't. In fact, only 1 touchdown so far, as we see in the first half. They took the ball over twice in opponent's territory and scored a touchdown with it.
Gary Crawford splits to the near side. Moser at the top of your screen. Lewis gets out of trouble. He's got some room. Lewis to the 50. Driven out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Walter Lewis. He carried the football last year for over 500 yards. He scored 5 touchdowns on the ground. Boy, that's what you call a dual threat.
Yes, the second leading rusher on their team, and you can't teach this, and it just drives you crazy trying to stop it. He gets outside the rush on Ken Gillen here. Gillen should rush for his back shoulder, not for his inside shoulder. Once he's outside, he's got yardage gain. 3 rushes for 24 yards tonight for Walter Lewis.
Well, you like to have a quarterback that's got that ability, and he just showed you what is going to make him a very good quarterback in this league. 5:59 left to go, right up the gut, and there is that man, Leonard Williams, again.
It was a draw play. He spun. Fullback led through the hole. It's called a lag draw or a lead draw, and Williams is going straight north-south when he has to, very effectively.
Walter Lewis set that up on that last play when he went back to pass, then he moved to the outside. Hey, these guys think pass now. They're going to think outside a little bit more with Lewis, and that's what opened up the middle.
It's a draw off of a semi-roll. Very effective for a quarterback like Lewis.
Another first down for Memphis. 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line of San Antonio. Williams again, little or no gain as the right side came up. 28 is that man, Jim Bob Morris. That's one of the great football names. I think between Jim Bob Morris and Put Choate, their folks had to be thinking football players when they named them.
They are excellent names.
What's the best name you ever had when you coached?
Johnny Zigzag Zizzo was a running back at William and Mary when I coached him there. And he was a fine running back.
You had a Jimbo up in Kansas City, though, didn't you?
Jimbo Elrod. The announcers used to call him Elbow Jimrod, however.
2nd and 9. 1-yard pickup. Williams, 12 carries, 91 yards on the night. Williams now shifts over. Now Lewis does not. Get back over to the other side. Lewis going deep. He's got Crawford. Touchdown, Memphis. Once again, Peter Rayford was the man that was beaten back there, and Walter Lewis finds wide receiver Derek Crawford, who caught 12 touchdown passes a year ago, 35 yards for the score.
This is the one thing they had to stop. They blitzed. That left Crawford man-to-man right here on Peter Rayford. He drives Rayford deep, and then you see the speed differential. He blasts by him. The pass is a little bit underthrown. He has to wait, but nevertheless, it gets there in time, and it's an easy touchdown. It means you had to pick up the blitz to do it.
Duncan to attempt the point after, and it's no good. He hooked it. So, Alan Duncan misses the point after. Memphis leads San Antonio 13-3. How about Crawford? Little, sure, why not? Duncan missed the point after. He's missed the field goal. He's got to kick it off, and his kickoffs have not been very deep, but this one is. Oliver Williams goes 5 yards deep, and he'll keep it there. So Duncan redeems himself a bit. Touchdown pass, Walter Lewis. Derek Crawford, 2nd TD pass of the night for Lewis.
Lewis is looking for him all the way. Crawford just blows on by him. There's really no safety deep enough in the middle to give him any help at all. There was a blitz. The safeties were up man-to-man coverage on the backs in case they came out of the backfield. And Crawford just beat number 20, Peter Rayford, on that.
Didn't take him long, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Their other touchdown drive was only 2 minutes and 30-some seconds. 4 plays, 61 yards. So San Antonio, who put the good drive together, got the field goal. Their defense can't come back and hold after that. That's going to be a bit of a letdown.
It was very important to Memphis, too, to be able to regain the momentum at that point.
1st and 10, San Antonio at the 20-yard line. Neuheisel in trouble, and he's got to go down. No, he slips out of it. Oh, now he's nailed. He's going deep downfield to Bugs, and Neuheisel's hurt. Neuheisel had himself exposed, and I hope he was wearing that ribcage pad.
That's exactly where he took that lick. He was running. He saw his man. He courageously stepped up and tried to throw deep. He couldn't get enough on the ball because the tackler zeroing in on him got him right in the rib cage, and he couldn't follow through. He drops back, looking to his right, doesn't see it, almost throws it, starts to scramble, hits a traffic jam, loses the ball, picks it up. He would have been better off losing it. Goes the other way, and bang, he catches that helmet, which has him in quite a bit of distress right now.
That looked to be Will Coakley who came in and gave him the shot. Now, the backup for Rick Neuheisel, if he can't continue, is Whit Taylor, who played for the Michigan Panthers. As a matter of fact, last year, taking the place of an injured Bobby Hebert, Whit Taylor defeated San Antonio in overtime, 23-17, and had a heck of an afternoon. And there's a look at the young man out of Vanderbilt University.
Not very big fella. He's 5'11", but small quarterbers are in vogue this year.
Aren't they?
And
everybody's got to have one.
And he's very capable, though. I've seen him play on several occasions. Has outstanding passing statistics as a collegian at Vanderbilt University.
Neuheisel is up on his feet, and he's being helped off the field. Hopefully just got the wind knocked out of him. But I'll tell you, Marv, you've taken a shot like that, you feel it all the way down to your toenails.
Oh, you do. It was wind, and you're going to have sore ribs on top of it, but it doesn't look like they're fractured or badly bruised.
Taylor will come in. Neuheisel leaves, completing 8 of 21 for 81 yards. He threw an interception. And Whit Taylor, 5'11", 185 pounds, has spent his whole career in the United States Football League. First 2 years with the Michigan Panthers. He'll step in to guide the attack with 4:20 left to go third quarter. 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Roberts is in the game now. He'll come to the slot on the near side.
Possible blitz right now. They're all up there.
They got him. They got him. You called it, Marv Levy. Number 58, Will Coakley, was the man who was in there out of Kansas State University, a teammate of Jim Bob Morris in college. What tipped you off?
Oh, they just all got up there, and the other thing that tipped me off, when you bring a new quarterback in the first time, he'd like things to be nice and easy. Say, hey, let's go after that guy and show him it's going to be tough.
Usually you like your quarterback
from the end zone. Here, Coakley is untouched. No one picked him up. There has to be a mistake in blocking when that occurs.
Sometimes with a new quarterback, all you want him to do is hand the football off on that first play.
Of course you do. But they came out throwing.
Now they've presented with a 3rd down and 17 situation. Back at their own 13-yard line. 3 seconds left to go on the 30-second clock. And they get the play off. Taylor is looking for Gordon on the near side. And I'll tell you what, Gordon, who was one of the top receivers for San Antonio, they've just not been able to get him the football tonight.
They've shut him off real well. Memphis has done defensively what they want to do. Put on a big rush and then have some very talented players in the defense latch onto you and cover you tightly.
This has been a busy man tonight. Ken Hartley be coming in for his 6th punt of the evening, standing about 4 yards deep. And there is the ever-dangerous Henry Williams. He's only 5 feet 6 inches tall. Pepper Rogers just can't say enough about it. Matter of fact, he beat Derek Crawford out, who was first-team All-USFL returns last year.
I think Pepper also wanted to protect Derek.
Fair catch called. Did a good job of catching that football coming up at the 41-yard line, Mark.
Yes, look at that great field position right here. Their defense helped set that up, no question about that.
1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of San Antonio. Lewis going deep. He wants Crawford. Just barely overthrown. Back on the coverage. Leon Williams, 29, who has checked into the game. He was looking all the way, Marv, for that same man, Derek Crawford.
Yes, he was. Crawford is a speed mismatch for the San Antonio corner. For Charles Armstead, who normally plays on the right side, and also on the other side for against Rayford.
Total yards. I don't have to say anything, Marv. You don't keep them. 2nd and 10, draw play right up the middle.
It's that same roll draw they used earlier. I call it a lag draw or a lead draw.
Inside the 40, that's Williams, who moves it down to the 38-yard line. And I'd have to say, he is near 100 yards if he hasn't surpassed it. This has got to be the night of his professional football life.
A young man that gained 14 yards last year in 4 carries, doing what he's doing tonight. I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
3rd down and 6 as San Antonio has made the defensive adjustments now. They bring in what they call their dime defense. We've heard of the nickel. This is the dime.
And they're blitzing it.
Jim Bob Morris! Got him! Jim Bob Morris, 28, Hut Choate, 55. But give it to Morris. He had 58 tackles, unassisted tackles a year ago. He had 3 interceptions. He's a super athlete.
Here I believe we're going to get another look at this. From the end zone, we see Hut Choate blitzing up the middle. He forces Lewis wide, and here comes Jim Bob Morris, almost too tight, but he gets there, and then a lot of other folks, including Hut Choate, show up to put him on the ground.
Morris tonight, 3 takes, assist, a sack, fumble recovery.
Well, he's their nickelback, and they expect a lot of more.
A lot of pressure. Rayford got in. Miller went down. No flag. And I'll tell you what, Miller, who kicks it barefoot, is going to have a sore toe.
Rayford trying to make up for that being beaten on that pass. I got to give him credit. He's quite a competitor. He came after.
Pepper's going to go talk to the guys in the striped shirt. He said, "Have you read my book? 4th and Long Gone. It's in its 3rd printing."
I tell you, if this guy's cover kicks as fast as Pepper got down there, he's in good shape. Rayford coming untouched from the right side. Miller again stepping this way. Takes a shot. Miller turns into him a little bit. The official felt oh, he's blocked into him. No harm, no foul type of thing there.
Good call.
Blocked into him by Harry Sidney. You call no running into the kicker.
So the Bounty Hunters come up with a big play again as Memphis had good field position. With Taylor's Neuheisel back in there. He fumbles the football. It's still loose. And Memphis gets it right back. 57, Lamont Jeffers from the University of Tennessee comes up with the fumble recovery as Rick Neuheisel had checked back into the football game and got a lot of pressure and coughed it up.
Here we take a look from the end zone. It's a play-action pass. He fakes the ball to Stamper, looking downfield, but a lot of heat first from Reggie White. Then he gets put in the pictures by Calvin Clark. The ball comes loose, picked up by Memphis, and they are in great field position. Bussey thought he had it, realized he didn't have it, looked back around for it, but he had some other guys coming to help him.
1st and 10 at the 15. Leonard Williams, he's got room inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line with 1:43 left to go. Third quarter, Hutch Schultz, 55, comes up to make the stop. Williams now at the 100-yard mark, 14 carries, 100 yards.
I would estimate that about 85 of those yards have been running to his right side. And again, the key blocker on that, as far as on the corner, is Huffman. The fullbacks have been filling up the middle. Harry Sidney.
Wide receivers, Crawford and Moser both go to the far side. 2nd and 4. Harry Sidney right up the middle. He might get a couple, not much more than that. Greg Fields, 99, comes crashing in to make the stop. He had 31 tackles and 4.5 sacks a year ago. 6th year of professional football, 3rd in the United States Football League out of Grambling. Eddie Robinson's turned out how many pro players? I'd like a nickel for everyone.
I lost count long ago. He's turned out many of them. There's some great players come from that school. Everybody knows that.
3rd and 2, 40 seconds left to go, third quarter. Wide receivers split out wide. Now this is Moser in motion. Williams inside the 5, down to the 4, and that'll be enough for a first down. Ivan Lesnick, 95, Hutch Schultz, 55, make the stop. They've had a lot of success running into the middle. Williams has had it, turning it up. This time he went to the left side.
Yes, it's the same play. The play is designed to go outside, but if the defense flows, you turn up inside behind the block of your fullback, number 24. Harry Sidney doing a fine job on 51. Rick D'Amico helps him get the yards, a first down, or cracks at it from 4-yard line.
Pepper Rogers, when we were talking to him today about Harry Sidney, he says this guy is a pro.
Well, he certainly is. And what he said, doesn't have great ability, but he never makes a mistake. He knows where his assignment is. He knows the starting count. He knows the pass routes. He knows pass blitz pickup. And you need a guy like that.
That's the end of the third quarter. Memphis leads San Antonio 13-3. We'll be back 1st and goal from the 4-yard line for the Memphis Showboats. Play action. Lewis. Gary Shirk, touchdown Memphis. And we got an altercation in the end zone going on between Jim Bob Morris and the San Antonio Gunslingers and Ralph, the tight end. But nonetheless, the 3rd touchdown pass of the night for Walter Lewis. And last year against the same San Antonio team, Lewis threw 5 TD passes.
Yes, he did, but a lot of those were just sort of makeshift as you can do. Here it's execution. He fakes the same running play that has been so successful for him. The Bounty Hunters try to close in to stop the run, but Gary Shirk gets in behind the defense for the score. It looks like Peter Rayford was responsible. There's no way of knowing who was responsible on the man-to-man coverage on that one.
So Duncan, who missed his last point after, will try to make good on this attempt, and he got it that time. So 14 minutes, 55 seconds left to go in this football game. Memphis leads San Antonio 20-3. San Antonio's got a lot of work to be done when we return to Alamo Stadium. They trail by 17. Duncan to kick it off. Oliver Williams back to San Antonio. Into the wind, slight breeze, about 8 miles an hour, and at the 9-yard line, Oliver Williams turns it up, gets it to the 30-yard line. And Walter Lewis, as we mentioned last year, 5 touchdown passes, but he did it in a scrambling sort of fashion. His 3rd tonight, this is very much under control.
Oh, yes. It's a well-executed play, as I mentioned earlier, off the fake of the run that they've been giving to Leonard Williams. Everybody comes up to stop it. Gary Shirk's wide open in the back of the end zone.
That guy's been around for a couple of years, too, hasn't he?
He's very dependable. Even though we had a fumble earlier tonight, that's a rarity.
But Neuheisel's got his work cut out for him as he brings San Antonio up the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Swings it to Worthy out of the backfield. Worthy across the 35, up to the 37-yard line. Arlen Thompson, 63, was out there. Didn't quite get the block that he wanted, but Worthy made a lot of it on his own.
Memphis has been dominating this game, and you can see it right here. Rushing yardage almost 200 yards, and a nice, comfortable passing margin also, particularly getting the key receptions, and also ball possession in their favor. It's all Memphis, over 300 yards to just 135 yards.
7-yard pickup that time. 2nd and 3 now for San Antonio as they bring both Buggs and Gordon to the near side, and they just flat out haven't gotten the ball to their wideouts, Mark. Neuheisel finally, Hadnot makes a catch at the 45-yard line. Get a fork, James.
He double caught the ball, yes, but he finally came up with, you can see that he's sort of shaking his head like it's about time.
It's one of those nights, but he finally got that catch, so maybe next time it'll be a little bit easier for him.
I think he says, well, that takes the monkey off my back. I can start catching it. Neuheisel drills the ball. Hadnot up there, behind him a little bit. He bobbles it around 2 or 3 or 4 times. Finally grabs it and goes down under a whole bevy of tacklers.
Well, Lamont Jeffers, 57, was the man right on top of him. First down now for San Antonio out of the shotgun. Neuheisel brings it to the near side. Larry Canada has it slip through his hand.
Really having trouble. He hasn't thrown the ball particularly well, but when he has, his receivers haven't cooperated a great deal either. He's under 100 yards passing on the night.
10 of 24 for 96 yards. I'd like to remind you once again, Sam Clancy, number 90, had to leave the game earlier for Memphis because of a strained right knee. And Calvin Clark, 74, has stepped in there, and also Brett Williams, 63. They've alternated up front in that 3-man defensive front for the Memphis Showboats.
Their linebackers, even without their 2 key men, have been very active and effective.
2nd and 10. Quick out to Worthy. He spins. Boy, that was a nice move. Look at this kid go. That's going to be very close to a first down at the 45-yard line. Marv, I know you had him last year. You think a lot of him. He went to a small college. He's got so much room for improvement.
He has a lot of room for improvement. He's very willing. He's a very hard-working guy. He brings that lunch pail to work every day, I'll tell you. And he's got great balance and a knack to make you miss. He doesn't have great speed. He's not slow, but he's not real fast. But he's going to develop as his confidence grows into an outstanding player.
3rd down. 1 yard for San Antonio at the 46. Right up the gut. Now Worthy, and that's going to be very close. He went up the middle, then he slipped to the outside, and sometimes when you're running sideways, it's hard to get that little extra inch or 2 that you need.
Yes, it is. It looks from the spot, I'll take a guess here, that he made it.
12:35 left to go in this football game. San Antonio trails by 17.
Okay, here's Gary Worthy taking the ball. He sees a traffic jam up the middle, slides to the outside, and shakes off the tackler and just stretches out, leans out far enough to get what I think will be a first down.
I think it just needed to reach the 45-yard line, and the ball is on the 45. Now, keep in mind as we move down toward the conclusion of this game, and that's going to be very, very close, and they didn't get it. Oh, yes, they did. Well, from the angle we had right here, it looked like he didn't get it. But the official's right on top of it, and that's a first down for San Antonio. But the Gunslingers have already used 2 of their timeouts.
That's going to hurt them badly. Both times, I believe, they used them because they were changing personnel. They do a lot of change of personnel, and as a result, they push the 30-second clock.
Well, Jim Bates, who you saw there, says they have to get the max out of their players. They have to give it 100%. They have to use everybody. 1st and 10. Neuheisel looking for Hadnot. He's got it! Hadnot inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Barney Bussey was one of the men there, but finally it fell into the hands of 23 Ron Osborne to drop him down, and also 49 Mike Thomas, and that first catch made the difference on that catch.
That's right. He didn't double catch that one. Hadnot streaking straight downfield on this. Neuheisel out of the shotgun. As you see him drifts a little bit to his own right. Throws the ball out of desperation because there's a lot of pressure on him. Hadnot running step for step with Bussey, wrestles it away from him, and almost breaks all the way to the end zone, but they're in good position to score with a chance to get back in the ball game.
I think Bussey might have got a piece of that football.
He possibly did.
That's the way Hadnot's been trying to catch him all night, bouncing him up and down. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. 11:32 left to go. In motion is Canada. Hits back. This is Stamper. He's inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. Well, you know, there are those backs, Marvin. You've seen them for years in the league. Those 5'9", 5'10" running backs that weigh 200, 210 pounds. I know the Kansas City Chiefs for years. Hank Stram used to love them up there. But they are effective in situations, aren't they?
They are, and Stamper is not slow, by the way.
No.
He has good time in the 40-yard dash, and he is quick as well. Again, with those big guys like Hadnot in Canada, they tend to give it to him more often.
Stamper once again. Stamper driving. He gets maybe a yard down to the 2-yard line. Some good penetration by the Memphis Showboats defense that time. Matter of fact, Mossy Cade almost tripped him up in the backfield.
He was able to elude him. 3rd and 2. Look for a play-action pass here. I think they're going to throw it. I don't know if Pepper thinks they are.
4 down territory here, but trailing by 17.
I think you'd go for both of them. That's right. Use both downs in an attempt to score a touchdown.
Big play in this drive was the pass from Neuheisel to Hadnot. 3rd down and goal from the 2-yard line. They've got all their tight ends in there. Fumble. Memphis recovers. That time, it looked like a play action. The Stamper up the middle, and Neuheisel dropped the football.
You know, I saw Neuheisel audibleizing, or what I believe was audibleizing, and somebody didn't get it. Either he should have handed it off.
David Albright, 59, comes up with a fumble recovery.
Here he comes. Now, let's see. Did he mean to hand it off?
No.
No, he's trying to pull it off. He's faking it and trying to put it on his hip to come back out of there. But you can't fake up the middle like that, in my opinion, with one hand. I think you have to have a 2-hand fake on that play.
Well, a costly mistake for the San Antonio Gunslingers as they trail by 17, a chance to pull to within 10. And with 10 minutes left to go, Memphis will take over. 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line. A little confusion defensively now for San Antonio. Is 91 Jeff Gaylord was late in getting in there. Harry Sidney was the ball carrier right up the middle. Now you got to figure Pepper's just going to try to sit on it a little bit.
Well, yes, we're right down here. I think he's going to try and control the ball some. There's still a lot of time left in the game, 9.5 minutes, so I don't think you can sit too much, even with a 17-point lead.
There you go, 59. He's the man that recovered the fumble. The rookie, David Albright, whose college coach sent a film to Pepper Rogers and Steve Earhart, said, take a look at this kid. Nobody drafted him. He made it. He's starting as a free agent. Ooh, dangerous pass right there. The intended receiver, Moser, but Lewis threw it behind him. That could have been picked off by Armstead.
I think that's very dangerous. Deep in your own territory, I don't think you should throw that ball very much in the middle. It's the same slanting pass they've been having some success with, but they've dropped off and are covering the zones pretty well. He throws the ball behind him. Armstead was playing the receiver, Moser. Had he played the ball, he would have had it.
Attendance tonight here at Alamo Stadium, 10,983. That's just about what they sold in season tickets this year.
All the season ticket holders showed up, but not many others.
Beautiful night. Temperatures in the high 50s. There's that man, number 20, Leonard Williams. Reggie Oliver comes up to make the tackle, and once again, Temper's starting to flare here a little bit. 94 Ben Smith getting into it.
If we were losing a game, that's when I hated most of our players started getting in fights. You either play the game to its fullest, and if you get beat like a man. Don't go in there and start fighting. Do your fighting while the ball's in play, according to the rules.
Well, that was Ben Smith and Ken Smith that were getting after each other. They're going to measure it now. 4th down. Coming up. If they don't make it. 8:59 left to go. I'll tell you one thing. These officials look it over darn close, and they're going to give them the 1st down.
There have been some very close measurements tonight. 4 or 5 of them. Now, we were talking to Pepper earlier tonight, speaking of running backs, again about Tim Spencer. He's bemoaning the fact that Tim wasn't available. Said the doctor said Tim could run forward fine, but he couldn't stop. Pepper said, I don't want him to stop.
But he wants a parachute on his back and just keep him going, and then we'll pull the chute in the end zone. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line now for the Memphis Showboats. They have 18 first downs on the night, and there is Leonard Williams. And I'll tell you one thing, this guy has earned himself a spot on this football team tonight, and Tim Spencer's a great back, but when you have a guy through adversity come in this situation, and he hasn't been in camp all the time, Spencer might be back a little bit earlier than Pepper thinks.
Well, Pepper's very high on Spencer. Says it'll be about 3 weeks. He feels he's a very hard worker. Okay. Here we see Huffman pulling number 56. That allow the ball carrier to proceed on upfield. And here John Bearfield getting gazes in a little fisticuffs.
Oh, Gary Shirk was doing a good job blocking on Bearfield. And Bearfield, we have not called his name once tonight on a tackle.
Memphis has done a very good job in terms of their blocking schemes and then their execution of their blocks in handling the gunslinger position.
There is the bounty hunter defense. There is Dr. Doom, John Bearfield. The bounty hunters, they've played pretty darn tough tonight.
Yes,
they haven't got a lot of help from the offense.
They have, and I was just going to say that. Their offense has to give them some respite during the course of that, something to lift them, and offensively they've done very little.
1st and 10 for Memphis. Clock running, 7:34 left to go in this football game. They lead it 20-3. Leonard Williams, and he has got room. He cuts it outside. He's got a block. Leonard Williams across the 40. He's out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And Leonard Williams over 135 yards rushing tonight.
One fellow we probably haven't given enough credit for Williams' performance is Harry Sidney. He's been doing a magnificent job of blocking, and again, that was that lead draw, and the man who was leading it was Harry Sidney, and he got a beautiful block on the linebacker to help spring him for a good, for sizable yardage.
Also, the wide receiver, Derek Crawford, was out there to get a block for him so he could turn the corner. Another first down, 20 first downs for Memphis tonight. Clock at 7:22 left to go in this game. Ricky Porter turns up the right side. He gets about 4 yards. Marv, last year the San Antonio Gunslingers got off to a 1-6 start, but they finished pretty strong at the end of the year. They came up with 6 wins, 5 losses in their last 11 games. They were a team that really turned it around at the end. They had a couple of shutouts last year, which nobody else did. They led the league in interceptions at 31.
They did a great job. In fact, it was my opinion that they probably did more with the talent available to them than any team in the league last year.
And I think a lot of people around the league feel that way. 2nd and 6. Memphis content to run the football. That's Ricky Porter. He's tripped up back there. 91, Jeff Gaylord. This is a young man that can bench press 615 pounds. And you look at those howitzers that are called arms.
615 is an amazing figure. Of course, you can't get too carried away with weightlifting scores in terms of relating it to football. Some players do. They think their weightlifting score means everything. But it is a good indication of the strength of the player.
He was a pretty good player for the Breakers the last couple of years.
Yes, he was. An outstanding collegiate career at the University of Missouri.
Just over 6 minutes left to go. 3rd down and 7 now for the Memphis Showboats. Lewis looking right down the middle, and he's got his tight end. That's number 83, Mark Raw.
I tell you, Charlie Waller has come in as the offensive coordinator, specifically to work with the quarterback. And he's done a magnificent job with Lewis. Lewis now in his 2nd year in a pro-oriented offense. He had run the wishbone in college. Has just done magnificently. Mark Raw from West Virginia.
Played with Pittsburgh last year. Caught 28 passes, 364 yards, a touchdown. Came over with Sam Clancy as Memphis went out and picked up some people in the dispersal draft. Lewis, 9 of 16, 153 yards. He's carried the ball 3 times for 22 yards. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes. And he's got his team 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. And that's Leonard Williams.
I tell you, they have run that play. They have run that play so much. That is a very basic offensive play. It's been in football for 30 years. 28 FM Grace. Leroy Kelly, the Cleveland Browns, used to make a living off of it, and they're running it over and over with great success tonight.
Ivan Lesnick made the tackle on that last play. Nick Miner won't be back for the San Antonio Gunslingers. He's got a thigh contusion, so he'll miss the rest of this game. San Antonio plays Arizona next week here in San Antonio. And once again, we'll have these Memphis Showboats against the Jacksonville Bulls a week from tonight. Lewis swings it out to the near side, and Harry Sidney, who is without a doubt the best receiver out of the backfield for the Memphis Showboats, and he did such a great job a year ago, catching 44 passes for 350-some yards and a couple of TDs. with Denver, was their top receiver a year ago, happens to the best of them.
We look at it again. Lewis looking for a downfield receiver, doesn't find any, puts the ball out to Harry in the flat, wide open. He sort of relaxed his hands as he began to glance upfield to see where the defenders were. It went through his hands, bounced off his helmet, incomplete.
3rd and 8. Total yards. That hasn't been the whole story. Memphis has been able to take advantage of a couple big plays. Draw goes right up the middle. Ricky Carter. Porter gets himself up to the 35-yard line. That's going to be short of the first down. Bud Choate makes the tackle for San Antonio.
We sometimes ask what a coach does at halftime. That lead draw that they've run about 5 or 6 times in the second half, they didn't run once in the first half. They must have seen something to tell them to utilize it in the second half, and they've used it very effectively.
Memphis will punt it on 4th and 3. A lot of players still coming on the field. Jim Miller sending it to the near sideline, and it looks like he got a good one, and he did. Miller gets it out on the 7-yard line. Memphis leads San Antonio 20-3. Gunslingers are going to have to get it going in a hurry. They trail by 17. Back in San Antonio, Texas. Hope you've enjoyed our first Monday night game of the year here on ESPN. Memphis leads San Antonio 20-3. That 28-yard punt by Jim Miller. 3 of his 4 punts have gone inside the 20, so he has done the job there. That's where average is a little bit misleading.
Absolutely. A punter on a good team probably will have a little bit lower average because he's punting in good territory.
Scott Stamper takes it right up the middle. You got the clock running. Why are you going to run it?
Well, some people might think they might be loosened off expecting the pass, and we might pop one out of there. But basically, you might as well put it up anyway because if you're going to get back in the game in shotgun, they're going to now.
3:34 left to go in the game. Neuheisel is in trouble, and he gets dropped at the 10-yard line. Steve Hammond, 54, who last year led Memphis in tackles with 131. He's not even starting this year.
That maybe is a good indication of the improvement in their defense, but they do want to play Hammond outside. They feel they have stronger backers inside field. He's more naturally an outside backer.
Neuheisel trying to avoid people. He finally gets it to his receiver, Mark Rush, who is knocked back and doesn't get the first down. And a real good play by Barney Bussey, number 8 there, as Mark Rush looked as though he had first down yardage, and Bussey knocked him back.
Bussey's a strong hitter. Right now, Memphis is really showing their dominance. They've taken it to him, and it looks like all the killer instinct is with them. It was a very feeble drive, if you want to call it a drive of 7 or 8 yards on that play by San Antonio.
2:38 left to go.
Memphis out there having a lot of fun right now. Position to score again.
Hartley once again in his end zone, and he's been a busy guy tonight for the San Antonio Gunslingers. Henry Williams, 89, back deep. Wobbly punt, signaled a fair catch, but it gets a reverse bounce that time, and San Antonio will down it at the 46-yard line. Memphis 20, San Antonio 3. As Memphis has a 17-point lead, 2 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. Good field position at 45, and of course San Antonio just a 1 timeout because they had to use 2 timeouts earlier in this half when the 30-second clock was about to expire. And Memphis will step back as we get the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes left to go. Memphis leads it 20-3. We'll be back with the final 2 minutes of this Monday Night Football game. Right of Pepper Rogers with a hat on. Charlie Waller, a veteran coach, has been around a long time, former head coach at San Diego. And I'll tell you what, I know, Marv, his work with Walter Lewis is already showing.
It certainly is. Lewis has so improved over a year ago. He uses his passing game. He reads his defense as well.
The upright freezer out of Auburn at 6 feet, 280 pounds when he came to camp. They say he has lost some weight.
Well, he didn't see much action tonight. Harry Sidney did yeoman work at fullback, doing a lot of blocking and some effective up-the-middle ball carrying. They have Neal in there now along with Anthony Parker.
And this is Neal, 44. Big man's not afraid to try to get it to the outside and turn it up, is he?
No, he's not. There wasn't anything inside for him. He bounced it outside and looked pretty nimble for a man that weighs 280 pounds.
Clyde Johnson, 32, made the tackle, and Clyde felt every bit of it. As San Antonio will take their last timeout with 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go, and it'll be a 3rd down and 4 for Memphis. We'll be back to Alamo Stadium in San Antonio with the final moments right after this. San Antonio called their last timeout. Walter Lewis, who's had a fine night, 3 touchdown passes, brings them up to the line of scrimmage. And there is the 280-pounder O'Neal. He'll be very close. Marv, thoughts on this game tonight? Memphis Showboats, San Antonio Gunslingers as they head into the 85 season.
Well, Memphis has been very impressive. We knew they expected to have a strong defense with a good pass rush, and they certainly have shown that. For them, Clancy has to come back healthy. They would get Corker and Whittington back. Their defense will become even stronger. We thought offensively that they wouldn't be very strong, but Leonard Williams has come through, and their quarterback, Walter Lewis, has been very impressive.
On 4th and 1, Memphis will go to it. Keep in mind, John Corker, who they just think so much of, great player for the Michigan Panthers, as O'Neal gets the first down. Corker, who 28 sacks 2 years ago with Michigan. He didn't play tonight. He will be back next Monday night, Pepper tells us, when Memphis takes on Jacksonville here on ESPN.
And they also have this Whittington, Mike Whittington, who's a fine inside linebacker. For San Antonio, one game does not make a season. Their defense played very well early in the game. They got no help from their offense. Even when their offense had some chances to score, they fumbled them away or frittered away the opportunity. But their defense has been impressive. Offensively, no doubt.
As the clock ticks down, players come out to the field and congratulate one another. Jim Bates in his head coaching debut is a loser. Pepper Rogers, a winner, his 2nd year at the helm of the Memphis Showboats. And this is the time for congratulations to 2 head coaches, 2 of the most colorful and flamboyant coaches in the United States Football League. Memphis has defeated San Antonio, the season opener for both teams. Final score, Memphis 20 and San Antonio 3.